And let me make something crystal clear. I never said Jeffrey Epstein didn't traffic other people, other women, and they're not other victims. This is the investigation we were given from 2006, 7, and 8, and the search warrants from 2006, 7, and 8. That's what we're working with.
Well, wait, have you released all of the stuff that the FBI has seized from Epstein's house? The computers, the emails, the file cabinets, the documents? What about the financial records? Have you released all of that?
Everything the court has allowed us to release.
Which court are you talking about?
3 separate federal courts have come in and said...
We're talking about the evidence you've got. It's got nothing to do with what those courts have.
Do you have any idea how the law works?
Wait,
do you want me to break the law in a federal judge's order?
No, I want you to follow your own word, Director Patel. You said up there it was under the direct control of the FBI director. He had the black book.
Everything I have direct control over, we have gone to court. You haven't.
Complete your sentence. Everything you have direct control over, you said.
Have gone to court, and everything we have direct control over.
Complete your sentence. You said everything.
We're releasing.
Much more has come out in the days since the American people in Congress have been demanding it, but it's coming out in dribs and drabs. Why don't you just release the entire file as you promised to do?
Okay, so Kash Patel, one of Donald Trump's most loyal and controversial allies, just had what legal experts are calling a complete meltdown in federal court. And we're talking about a situation that has gone from bad to absolutely catastrophic in a matter of hours. A federal judge presiding over a case involving Patel's testimony and potential obstruction of justice just delivered what's being described as a final warning. The kind of warning that comes right before a judge orders someone taken into custody immediately. We're talking about a Trump loyalist who has been at the center of some of the most controversial moments of Trump's presidency and post-presidency. Someone who Trump wanted to install as FBI director or CIA director. Someone who has access to incredibly sensitive classified information and intelligence operations. And this person is now facing the very real possibility of being held in contempt of court and sent to jail within days or possibly hours if he doesn't comply with court orders. And what happened in that courtroom was stunning. According to multiple reporters and legal observers who were present, Patel visibly fell apart under questioning from the judge. His lawyers were scrambling, his answers became incoherent and contradictory, and at one point the judge stopped the proceedings and said something along the lines of, "Mr. Patel, I am giving you one final opportunity to tell the truth and comply with the orders of this court. If you continue to evade, if you continue to provide false testimony, if you continue to obstruct this investigation, I will have no choice but to hold you in contempt and order your immediate detention. This is your last chance." The implications of this are absolutely massive, not just for Patel personally, but for Trump's entire legal and political operation, for the ongoing investigations into classified documents and obstruction of justice, and potentially for national security itself. Now, before we dive into exactly what Patel did to provoke this extraordinary warning from a federal judge and what it means for Trump and everyone connected to these investigations, let's talk about why you're probably not getting the complete story from mainstream media outlets. They're covering this, sure, because Kash Patel is a known Trump ally and courtroom drama sells, but they're not giving you the full context about who Patel is, what role he's played in Trump's orbit, why his potential testimony is so crucial to multiple investigations, what specific laws he may have broken, and what the cascading effects could be if he actually goes to jail and starts cooperating with prosecutors to save himself. And honestly, you can't really trust mainstream media anymore to connect these dots and give you the analysis that actually matters. That's why we built this channel, to bring you real stories with real depth. No corporate filter, no political spin that protects the powerful. Just the facts and the implications that affect your understanding of how power actually works in America. We break down the complex legal and political stories that other outlets simplify or ignore. We give you the context you need to understand what's really happening, and we follow the story wherever it leads, even when it's uncomfortable for people in power. If you want to stay ahead of the headlines and truly understand the legal and political developments that are reshaping our government, make sure you subscribe to the channel right now. We bring you in-depth analysis every single day on the stories that matter, the investigations that could change everything, and the power struggles that determine the future of American democracy. Just hit that subscribe button below to join our community of informed viewers who demand more than superficial coverage. And if you believe in supporting independent journalism that holds the powerful accountable, regardless of party, this is your moment. Subscribe now and be part of something that actually matters. All right, let's get back to what just went down in that courtroom and why Kash Patel's situation is so dire. Here's what happened. Kash Patel has been subpoenaed to testify in multiple investigations, including the federal case involving Trump's handling of classified documents after leaving the White House, potential obstruction of justice related to those documents, and other matters that remain under seal but appear to involve intelligence operations and national security. Patel was a key figure in Trump's administration, serving in various roles at the National Security Council and as Chief of Staff to the Acting Secretary of Defense. Patel was reportedly present at Mar-a-Lago on multiple occasions when classified documents were being stored, moved, and discussed. He allegedly had conversations with Trump about those documents, and critically, prosecutors believe Patel has direct knowledge of efforts to conceal documents from federal investigators, to mislead the Justice Department about what documents existed and where they were located, and potentially to destroy or alter evidence. So Patel's testimony is absolutely crucial to the prosecution's case, not just against Trump, but potentially against others in Trump's inner circle who may have participated in obstruction. The problem is that Patel has been doing everything possible to avoid testifying honestly and fully. He initially refused to comply with a grand jury subpoena, claiming various privileges and immunities. When a judge rejected those claims and ordered him to testify, he showed up but provided what prosecutors say were evasive, incomplete, and potentially false answers. He claimed not to remember key events, contradicted his own previous statements, and invoked privileges that don't actually exist or don't apply to the questions being asked. Prosecutors went back to the judge and said Patel was in contempt of court for failing to provide truthful testimony as ordered. The judge held a hearing to give Patel an opportunity to explain himself, and that's where things fell apart spectacularly. According to courtroom observers, the judge questioned Patel directly about specific statements he'd made to the grand jury that contradicted documentary evidence, text messages, emails, and testimony from other witnesses. The judge presented Patel with messages he had sent discussing the classified documents, showed him photographs of documents at Mar-a-Lago with metadata proving when they were taken, and confronted him with testimony from other witnesses that directly contradicted his claims of not remembering events. Under this questioning, Patel's demeanor completely changed. He started stammering, his answers became rambling and incoherent, his lawyers were objecting constantly and asking for breaks, and it became clear to everyone in the room that Patel was caught in lies and didn't have a way out. At one point, the judge apparently asked Patel directly about specific moments. "Mr. Patel, are you telling this court that you don't remember being at Mar-a-Lago in June 2022 when these documents were being moved, despite the fact that we have security camera footage showing you there, despite text messages you sent referencing your presence there, and despite testimony from 3 other witnesses who say they spoke with you there about these specific documents?" Patel reportedly tried to claim the footage was unclear, that the text messages were being misinterpreted, and that the other witnesses were mistaken. The judge wasn't having it. That's when the judge delivered the final warning, making it absolutely clear that Patel was facing immediate jail time if he continued to lie or evade. The judge said something to the effect that the court had been extraordinarily patient, had given Patel every opportunity to comply with lawful orders, but that the evidence of Patel's lack of truthfulness was now overwhelming, and the court would not tolerate further obstruction of justice. The judge gave Patel a deadline, reportedly just days away, to return to court and provide full and truthful testimony about everything he knows, with the understanding that if he fails to do so, he will be held in contempt and remanded to custody immediately pending his willingness to comply. The immediate reaction has been one of shock and, frankly, schadenfreude among Trump's critics and panic among his allies. Legal experts who have been following the classified documents case are saying this is a turning point because Patel is one of the few people who was in the room for key conversations and events. If he goes to jail for contempt, he'll be sitting in a cell knowing he could get out at any time by simply telling the truth. That's an incredibly powerful incentive to cooperate. And if Patel decides to save himself by providing truthful testimony, he could implicate Trump directly in obstruction of justice. He He could provide evidence about conversations where Trump discussed hiding documents or misleading investigators, and he could corroborate testimony from other witnesses that prosecutors have been unable to fully verify without Patel's cooperation. Trump's legal team is reportedly in full crisis mode because they understand that if Patel flips, it significantly strengthens the prosecution's case and makes conviction much more likely. There are already reports that Trump's lawyers have been trying to reach out to Patel's lawyers to coordinate strategy, possibly to offer financial support for Patel's legal fees or to remind him of loyalty expectations, but it's unclear how effective that will be when Patel is facing jail time. Patel himself released a statement through his lawyers that was bizarre and contradictory. The statement claimed that Patel has been nothing but truthful, that the judge is biased and politically motivated, that Patel is the victim of a witch hunt designed to hurt Trump, and that Patel will continue to assert his rights and privileges. But the statement also included language suggesting that Patel might be willing to provide additional testimony under certain conditions, which legal observers interpret as Patel's team testing the waters for a potential cooperation deal. The Justice Department responded with a brief statement saying they have full confidence in the judge's handling of the matter and that all witnesses in grand jury investigations are expected to provide full and truthful testimony as required by law. Now let's talk about who Kash Patel is and why his potential cooperation is so significant. Patel is not some minor player. He's been described as one of Trump's most loyal and ideologically aligned advisors, someone who Trump trusts implicitly. Patel started his career as a federal prosecutor and a public defender, so he has legal training and understands the system. He then became a staffer on the House Intelligence Committee, where he was instrumental in crafting the Nunes Memo, a document that attacked the FBI's investigation into Trump and Russia. Trump brought Patel into the administration, where he served in various roles that gave him access to highly classified information and sensitive operations. He worked at the NSC on counterterrorism issues and was chief of staff to the acting Secretary of Defense. Intelligence officials were reportedly horrified by the prospect of Patel leading the FBI or CIA because they viewed him as a political loyalist who would weaponize these agencies. After Trump left office, Patel remained in Trump's inner circle, reportedly advising him on legal strategy and helping to manage Trump's post-presidential activities. Critically, Patel was involved in the handling of classified documents after Trump left office. If Patel provides truthful testimony, he could establish that Trump knew he was retaining classified documents, knew he was supposed to return them, and made conscious decisions to hide them. This turns a document retention case into an obstruction of justice case with very serious criminal exposure. When a judge gives a final warning like this, it's because the judge has already determined that the person is not complying with lawful orders. This isn't a negotiation. Federal judges have broad authority to hold witnesses in contempt. If Patel decides to cooperate to avoid jail, it could trigger a domino effect. Trump associates see Patel flip to save himself. They're going to think very carefully about whether they want to face the same fate. Trump's entire defense strategy has relied on a wall of loyalty. If that wall starts to crumble, Trump's legal jeopardy increases dramatically. This situation also highlights a tension. Trump demands absolute loyalty, but has a history of abandoning people who get in legal trouble on his behalf. Patel has to ask himself whether Trump will actually help him or leave him to rot. Furthermore, the national security implications are massive. If Patel compromised sensitive material at Mar-a-Lago, it's a disaster. If he testifies fully, we may learn just how badly information was compromised. This is also a test of whether the legal system can actually hold powerful people accountable. If the judge follows through and jails Patel, it sends a message that no one is above the law. Kash Patel is facing the most serious legal crisis of his life. He now faces a binary choice: testify truthfully and potentially implicate Trump, or go to jail for contempt. Either way, Trump's legal and political operation is facing a crisis because the wall of loyalty that has protected him is cracking. Watch what happens over the next few days as Patel's deadline approaches. Watch whether he shows up to court or whether he refuses and gets jailed. Watch whether Trump and his team try to support Patel or distance themselves. And watch how this affects public perception of Trump's legal troubles, because one of his most loyal allies going to jail or flipping is a powerful story that could shape voter attitudes heading into the next elections. This is a defining moment, and the outcome will have consequences that echo through American law and politics for years to come.